in mind. I also have 3 young children who take part in these activities and do think that a turf field would be a great addition to the area. So we thought that if it would be comparable to sundown at a later, longer day, that it wouldn't really affect the residents with the light as much. So that's why we thought 9 o'clock would be better than 9:30. And I wanted to just speak briefly about, I think Mr. Simon made a comment about a sneak attack about this. And I had a discussion with Ms. Arena, who I'd like to apologize to. I got a message as I was walking out the door, oh, by the way, Gina Arena called you. So I didn't get back to you this time, but we did discuss it 2 years ago, that we would wholeheartedly take your home into consideration whenever voting on something in a residential area. So I just wanted to publicly apologize to you for not getting back to you this time, and let Mr. Simon know that it has been discussed for a long time, because it was 2 years ago when we first talked about the effect it would have on the neighborhood. But after being at the zoning public hearing, I think that Mr. Monkey took great effort to make sure that the lighting would be not disruptive to the area, and if we could keep up with it, and I'm not sure who said something, but if we did an ad hoc committee that did have some of the residents in the area just to keep up with the Parks and Rec and all the things that are going on in the neighborhood when this starts to roll, if it does pass, then we can make any modifications at any time so that we're always in the loop of what's happening in the neighborhood. Okay? That's really all. Thank you.
Further discussion? Mr. Petrini.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, before I speak to this, maybe I should add that amendment in A and B just to put them together for clarification. So this way here we can do the amendment and probably vote on it that way, but I would like to speak to it. So does anybody have any objections that it would be 7A and 7B with the amendment as Councilman Keity's proposed? It would be going from 9:30 to 9 o'clock under normal circumstances. Is that correct, Mr. Keity?
Correct.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to. I want to speak on this, but I was going to wait till after the amendment. That's all.
Why don't you want to vote on the amendment first and then have further discussion?
Sure.
All right. So the amendment, Mr. Keity, if you would read that one more time, we're going to insert that after 7A, 7A, and B.
With the stipulation that no lighting purchased under said agreement will ever be permitted to operate for normal activities after 9 p.m.
Okay, so that's the amendment. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That's carried. Now further discussion on the item, Mr. Petrini.
Yeah. Just to let you know, I am the chairman of Parks and Rec, and just 9:30 to 9 o'clock, it's just going to be a start. I just want to go over some of the meeting last year. Mike McKay and myself, we had about 19 representatives of almost every organized sports league that's in our city. And it was Little League, Babe Ruth, Legion, football, Pop Warner, lacrosse, you name it, all together. And what they asked us for is that we need more field time, we need more quality fields. And this was probably last year, and we are trying. I mean, our budget has been cut. We've tightened the belt, and we're trying the best that we can. So doing the turfing on these fields is going to help immensely. And, you know, by doing the turfing and installing the lights, it's going to answer a lot of pressing needs for thousands of our Norwalk youth. And I know that the area residents have many valid concerns, and it really has to be a balancing act between protecting their rights to their privacy and their enjoyment, and having more times available in the quality of fields for our children. The Parks and Rec Department, under the direction of Mike McKay, has and will continue to strive to react to all the discussions and the problems that are going to come up. And just for an example, this past year, the people in the surrounding East Norwalk field, where there was organized sports playing there, complained about a lot of people that were parking illegally, blocking their driveways, clearly in violation of don't park on the street, there's another place, another school that you can park in. And Mike took it and he informed the league president that they have to correct this problem or he would be forced to pull their permit. And the problem didn't go away, but the field permit did. Mike did pull the permit as promised. Problem solved in this case. And I'm going to go one step further. As the chair of Parks and Rec, and with both of your district representatives, Michelle Maggio and John Kites, that are on that committee, if this item is passed, and in the future, if there is a habitual problem with the use, the lights, the parking, the curfew time at this field, and your reasonable concerns are not addressed by the director, Mike Mulcahy, and I don't think that will ever happen, I will go on record this evening that along with Councilman Maggio Kites, Ian Cohen, he's your district at-large representative, and also Melinda's sponsor, who's on the committee, I will make sure your reasonable concerns or complaints are brought to committee and will be acted on. The Parks and Rec Committee of the Common Council, along with the vote of the whole council, has the authority to change or limit any activity on our fields and our parkland. This is just hopefully the beginning of a symbiotic relationship between the kids and the neighbors, and adjustments could be made anytime. And I urge at this stage that all the council people please support this, and if there's any problems in the future, it will not fall on deaf ears. We will discuss it. And just to go back just a little bit, the planning for this just didn't happen a few months ago. We've been trying to put this together to get the financing for almost 5 years. I know when I first took over the chair of Public Works, I'm sorry, Dave, Parks and Rec, in midstream, I sat in on a public hearing where we met with a lot of the neighbors who was concerns. Actually, nobody even brought up the drainage problems that we heard from a lot of the area residents. So there has been public notice as far as Parks and Rec has been concerned. Also, I know somebody mentioned about paying for the lights, but the various groups, this is not a free ride. The city's not paying for the electric use on these lights. These groups will have to reimburse the city, and I believe, Mike, somewhere around $80 an hour, $75 to $80 an hour.
Well, it's per evening.
Yeah, and I heard Andrews Field. Andrews Field is probably one of the problems why our fields are so overtaxed. We lost Andrews Field. Andrews Field has been reclaimed by nature, where we once had lacrosse, we had soccer, we also had rugby. That's gone. If you look there right now, it's probably duck, goose, because that's all that's in that field. And I know at one point we were able to use All Saints Field back when my kids were playing soccer. And that's not owned by the city, and I don't believe we have any affiliation anymore with All Saints, and we don't maintain it anymore. So this is what happened. I mean, everybody's screaming for fields, quality fields. I know when my children were on travel teams, we would always admire what other towns had. Why can't we do this in Norwalk? I wanted to say that now we can, but your concerns, your residents, we will listen to you. We'll work out something. If 9 o'clock doesn't work, come to the committee. I promise you, on record, we'll listen to your concerns. Thank you.
Mr. Bonaparte.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and after Mr. Petrini kind of said most of what I was thinking, but he's a little more eloquent about it, so I'll yield to that part. But a couple of comments and one observation is typically you have the neighbors versus the athletic community, and and in the back of my mind I was thinking, you know, the athletic community really doesn't care, they just want their fields. But I wanted to, Pat Spinola just left, but I wanted to throw him a compliment that he actually mentioned about being a good neighbor as he's promoting the sport. So I appreciated what he said. Also, I know Gina Arena from many years of chasing hockey players around, and she's another fine mom who does a lot of good things for the community and the sports teams in Norwalk. And she brought her concerns to me, and I too, like you, Jerry, and everybody else here, we're concerned that people are going to take the shortcut, the easy way out, park in front of all the side streets and walk over there, and that's got to be addressed. I mean, how complicated do you want to make it? Do you want to put no parking signs? No, that's not going to work, because then you can't have guests. Okay, so it's going to have to go through a review through the Parks and Rec Department and see how it's going and deal with the concerns there. There's a guy up there, Bob Fosina, who's in charge of junior soccer. I want to tell you that, yeah, the fields, in particular, West Rocks, my kids went through it playing junior soccer for the Norwalk program there, and the fields take a pounding, and when it doesn't rain for a month, those goalies, the player development suffers if you don't have a good field like we just approved, right? Goalies don't want to dive because it's really the equivalent of landing on cement, right? When the areas of the grass get worn out and turn hard. So, you know, good luck to everyone, and Mike, congratulations on getting the field part anyway, and we're going to go from there, and, you know, just want to say thanks.
Any other discussions? Mr.
I
Petty?
just want to thank you, Mr. Trini, for those reassuring words. I know you're a man of your word, and I believe you when you say that if neighbors in the area have some issues, they will be addressed.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Before I call for a vote, I wanted to just make a comment. One thing I've learned in my tenure is that even though the neighbors come and perhaps the vote doesn't go in the way that you wish it would go, and sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't, the council, I'm really impressed with the council members who truly take to heart what the public says. It's factored into all their decisions. I applaud the members of the public for contacting my office, contacting their individual council people to discuss their concerns, because that's what makes a community work. Everybody working together, everybody sharing ideas and coming up with the best resolution. So thank you to all the council members for all your hard work, for what you've done by taking into consideration all these comments from the public, and thank you to the public for coming out. So having said that, I will take a vote on the issue. All in favor of items 7A, 7A, and B as amended? All in favor?
Aye.